Hi fans of fans and air coolers from Silverstone, Ice Mist, and Hailstone specifically. So you may have seen videos where they've got a fan attached to the water block that's blowing on some part around the CPU socket. And these are typically called VRM fans. They've been around for several years. Enermax has several with VRM fans. ID Cooling has the Dash Flow, and there are other companies that have some with a VRM fan on them, but they're not terribly common. What they can allow you to do is to send a focused stream of air, hopefully not hot air, directly at a part that you know or feel is overheating. And typically that's going to be the heat sinks that cool off the VRMs. If you use monitoring software to try to figure out what's overheating, it may be listed as VRM, a VRM fan, MOS. It would have a Celsius temperature or a Fahrenheit temperature that it would report to you, redlining. Then that's a strong indicator that the VRM is choking on hot air, which that is definitely possible. And I came across an interesting artifact as I was testing the Hailstone, in that when I had just ambient air cooling off my PC and I had my case fans were off and my radiator fans were reduced in temperature, if it was indoor air, what would happen is the clocks would be lower, which is megahertz. The power, which is watts, would also be lower. As a result, the CPU temperature may or may not be lower. But when I had cold air coming into the room, in my case from my balcony, what would happen is you'd see the clocks go up and then down, and then up and down, and then it was kind of like looking at a heartbeat, but with more plateaued rather than sharp spikes and drops. It was like, what the heck? And then I realized, oh, the VRMs are overheating because the CPU temperature was stable. And it wasn't that the watts were producing too much heat, because the watts couldn't, except for when it went up. So what was happening was the VRMs would start to overheat, so the system would slow down the CPU, so that would make the clocks drop, and then once it had done that for long enough, then the temperature of the VRMs would drop, and then it would wait a while, and then it would go back up again until it was too hot, and then it'd go back down again. What I want to do is demonstrate how to install these. The IMF70, the IMF70-ARGB. Thank you very much to Silverstone for sending me the Hailstone, and also for sending me those fans. When I saw the artifacts, this weird result, I contacted him. I said, hey, I'm seeing something in my testing, and I'd really like to verify it. If you can send me those VRM fans, that'd be great. So they did. And so I've been testing other coolers, but I just reinstalled the Hailstone 360, which I'll just show you so you can see it. So I've got it side mounted, and there's the block. Now what I discovered is I don't move the case fans. They stay right there the whole time, because I want to provide a consistent environment as much as I can without making it unreal. So the fans stay on the front running at maximum speed, and that one stays on the back running at maximum speed, except for when I do choke tests. And the one where I saw the weird results was one of the choke tests where these fans and this fan were off, and those were down to 30%. And so I've got all these three fans here, and the three fans in the front, they're all pulling air in. But the problem is that the result is that the air from these two sets of fans are hitting each other and kind of stagnating somewhat, because these don't have a lot of static pressure, and these having to pull air through the radiator, which is on the other side here. This black thing here is the radiator. These have more static pressure than these do. So these are actually kind of, depending on where in the airflow you're talking about, especially around here, they're cutting off the airflow from the front fans. So my theory is that by putting 1 or 2 VRM fans on here, I'll be able to stop the VRM heat sinks from becoming saturated with heat, and then the VRMs overheat, and then everything goes south for the weather, so to speak. And this is a B580 from Intel. I'm not really using it, but I wanted to have it in there to simulate the airflow when you, or the lack of airflow that's caused by graphics cards in the traditional position. So I'm going to show you step by step how to open this up and how to install these fans. Because when you look at the instructions, whether it's the Hailstone or it's the IMF70, International Monetary Fund, which IMF stands for Ice Mist Fan, because that was the first one that came out that used this. When you look at this, it shows you very, very little. Step 1 is useless because it doesn't demonstrate that you have to rotate this. And number 2, it indicates that there's actually something at the bottom of the cap here that there isn't. And it shows you this part down here, but it doesn't show you how to get there. Because that piece there, even though this is step 1, this is wrong. This piece here, this is a translucent white piece, and you have to open up the cap, and then you have to do something inside, and then you have to put the cap back on, you have to turn it, and then you can get to this part, and then you can install. And this is not the greatest instruction, but it kind of helped me enough, whereas the first part absolutely, definitely did not. And then you have to put in these fastening rivets, which are made of plastic, and you get 2 each per fan. And you're going to be taking a rivet out of here, so keep in mind that when you are installing these fans, these rivets are hard to reuse because the bottom of this part here opens up once you push the pin in. So when you're installing one of these, do not push on the pin until the sleeve is pushed all the way into the hole. So take the sleeve off, push it in, and then push the pin in, because otherwise you won't be able to get it all the way in. Alright, so I'm going to set this up so that you can see what I'm doing, hopefully. So I think I'm ready now, and the first thing that I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to remove this, and you have to turn this 320 degrees. There is a little indicator on here that matches a little indicator over here, and once you get it all the way around, the cap comes off, just like that. So you can see there's that little nubbins there, and there's a matching one right there. Hopefully you can see that anyways. Then you're looking at it, and then you see, wait a second, it doesn't look anything like that. It's completely different, but the instructions don't show anything. Now the Hailstone instructions are slightly better because it at least acknowledges the existence of this and that it doesn't come off when the cap comes off because there's a rivet. Now I reinstalled this, and I had to actually kind of melt the end of the sleeve to get it back in there because I didn't want to. You're going to need something that's small enough that you can get it behind the head of the pin, pull it out, see? And the pin is actually reusable. It's just the sleeve that's a pain in the butt to reuse. And then you're going to have to do the same thing for the sleeve. Come here, sleeve. And this is more difficult than it should be because, again, I had to melt the end of this to be able to get it back in there. And it's not working like it used to work. Not as good anyways. But now that I've got that, I have to match that nubbins up with the other nubbins. And then I have to turn this. And then we see the part that we're supposed to be able to access. Hooray. Right? That was annoying. It took me a while to figure it out. I almost contacted SilverStone and said, hey, how do I do this? But then I figured it out, and I said, hey, you guys need to fix your instructions instead. All right. So then you're going to slide this on. like that. And now you're supposed to take a pin. Oh, well, you're supposed to take your pins and put them in here. And then if you're only doing one fan, you're going to put this back on. Now, when you open this up, these pins are all covered with this rubber protector. You will have to take this rubber protector off. Set it aside. Keep it for when you actually are going to maybe take this off or sell it or whatever. You may need it. So just put it somewhere safe. Now, if I wanted just one fan, then I'm done, right? But I want to do more than one fan. So we're going to try that as well. And I'm going to use my damaged pin to at least hold this in place, possibly. There we go. I should be using 2 pins, but this is just for demonstration purposes. Do not follow my example. All right, now I'm going to get this second one, and this is the ARGB one. And again, we have to, I didn't say this explicitly the first time, this has to line up with this, and these two, whatever you call these things, have to line up with these slots. Slots and tabs. All right, so we're going to put this here. And yes, it's a little bit awkward, especially if you do it after the thing is in the case. All right, so that's there. Now, you can turn these. I'm going to leave them like this because I want to see how it's going to affect the VRMs. You can see that there is a protection on here, so you don't need to do anything more. The protection was on the first fan. That's where I took this little cover off of. All right, now that that's done, now, we do have to take the protector off because this has to plug in because there's lighting in here. So we'll take that off like that. And then we will try our best to line these all up. And then we turn it. Oh. Well, that should be good enough right there. And now the question is how do I get them to actually turn on? I'm going to have to figure that part out, so hold on. I forgot about all the extra cables that are on this one. So there is a pump cable, which I have plugged in right here. And then I've got the fan cable, which I'm going to plug into the header for the CPU. And then, I know you want to see the pretty lights, so I'm going to plug the ARGB into my ARGB header. Please do not mix and match ARGB with RGB because you'll break something if you're unlucky enough. All right, so now I can make sure, and these don't produce a lot of movement that I can feel at this time, so I'm going to have to double check my BIOS settings to make sure that this is set higher. I thought I had it set at 100%, but maybe not, so I'm going to double check that. But these should rev up based on the temperature of the CPU because it's controlled by the CPU fan header. And that, unless you change the settings, if your BIOS allows you to, that is the way the CPU fan header works. It responds to the temperature of the CPU and changes the speed of these fans. But we're going to just keep these fans at 100%, and I'm going to run a test to see how much of an effect using these 2 fans has on the results of pressure testing my computer for my cooler series. And that is how you install it. Again, make sure to check your BIOS settings for the CPU fan to have it set the way you need it to be. Hopefully, since I didn't see anybody else making a video about this, including from SilverStone, this will help. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. If you would like to help me and get something out of it by helping me on a one-time basis, you can go to my eBay channel, the PC Expert Amateur, where you can purchase the items that I have on sale there. There are lots of keyboards and mouses and some other items as well. I've got cable organizers with power supplies and a bunch of other stuff, a nice variety of things that I have reviewed in the past and I no longer need, and I need to make space. Plus, I also need the money. So if you want to do that, the information's on the screen.
I need to ask for your help. Things have been challenging. Whose life hasn't been challenging lately? So if you can please help me out by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and turning on notifications, that would be really, really super. Also, if you'd like to help me financially and you can't afford to, you can do a super thanks on my Glenn's Fast Reviews channel, or you can become a member there. Or if you prefer, you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII and become a member there instead. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Bleeping Computer for their support of my channel. If you need resources for computers, for getting rid of malware and learning about cybersecurity and stuff, Bleeping Computer, BLEEPING computer.com is a great resource. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.